Good afternoon, my people. It's your boy FBL Josh, and welcome to the stream. How's everybody going today? How is everybody doing? We're obviously going to talk about everything that's currently going on today. Considering the fact we have had a lot of snow, so we were going to go into in depth on any possible postponed fixtures and so on. For the moment in time, as far as I'm aware, there is no postponed fixtures and nothing of the sort will happen. Obviously, the snow should clear up by today. Hopefully, we could possibly have more snow tonight, but it should clear up by the end of Friday. So we should be absolutely fine. I wouldn't worry about games this week. It is still a tough decision. Obviously, if I do have any kind of doubts about Brighton not playing the Leeds fixture, I might just go down to 2. But I'm quite happy with the triple up. Same with Brentford. I'm very, very happy with those. Whole in general, I'm quite pleased with. It's a phenomenal little wildcard. It's of all content creators, I say mine is the best wildcard I've seen. That's just not bigging myself up. The rest have just been horrific. Have a drink. All in all, though, I might actually be tempted to be playing Matty Cash this week over Trippier. It might be something I will pull. Just I feel Matty Cash offers a lot of attacking threat. I know Trippier does too, and Trippier has Wolves. But it's more of a fact of I feel like Matty Cash could outperform Trippier this week. So I do think it's a very tough decision for me. But I do think Matty Cash is probably the one I will probably likely lean toward come deadline. And probably is something I will be playing over Trippier. It is a tough one though. But I think I am leaning more to playing Matty Cash. Just so I think Cash versus West Ham, he offers a lot of attacking threat. I feel like Villa get a clean sheet. I don't think Newcastle will get a clean sheet versus Wolves because Wolves have looked better. And I just think all round he offers a lot of assist potential. Watkins over Saka is a no-brainer. Watkins is on penalties, Saka isn't. I don't see any need not to obviously play Saka. Bench Saka, sorry, for Watkins. I could be a case of not having Rashford, doing Rashford to Maddison, and obviously keeping Saka. I just don't think it's a great move. If I was going to do on this wildcard, my move would probably be having Maddison over Saka. Because I think Maddison really, Gameweek 28 is not a bad pick considering they play Brentford. And I know they play Brentford, but like he's still alright to just play that game. And then he has the double versus Crystal Palace, Villa and Bournemouth, which I quite like that fixtures. Obviously, Cash is why I picked for Villa, because I reckon they'll get one clean sheet Gameweek 29, get a clean sheet 27-28, and I feel like he gets the attacking returns in 29. And all the games up to, and the fact they have Bournemouth, for me, just indicates that Watkins and Cash are going to do quite well. And I'm not worried about Cash's minutes, to be honest. I am quite happy with my selection. We will go more in depth on the wildcard, and just literally just show how the wildcard is looking. This is currently what the wildcard is looking like. This could change. I don't really see it changing. I will most likely 90% sure. And you will see on Friday I will be going Haaland to Kane. I am just waiting on any news, injuries, possible matches being suspended because of snow and so forth. I just want to make sure I make the right call. I'm kind of hoping the Liverpool game doesn't get suspended for any snow or anything due to the fact these play at 12:30 and it's the early kickoff. If I hear any news like that whatsoever, it'll be just a straight thing of going Salah to Maddison. But I can't see anything like that happening, to be honest. I'm quite happy with it, the way everything's currently going so far. But yeah, no, it's not bad at all. Can't just go with the flow right now. It's been more of an iffy season, to be honest. It's my usual. You know, I've had one top 1k finish, you know, 2 top 250k finishes and 2 top 50ks, as well as a couple 500k finishes. So, but those were on like when I was running 2 accounts, which I shouldn't really have done. But anyway. Yeah, no, I I don't mind this team. I think it's great. The only one I think that could possibly be going out for me is I did have Mings and Cash. I did like the double up, but I think Newcastle double up is probably just going to be template as hell. But Botman's low owned, so I do prefer. And I think the fact he's got Wolves, you know. But then I'm not going to play that week. But he's got Nottingham Forest, so the Man U West Ham. I feel there's a clean sheet versus West Ham and not a clean sheet versus us. So the bench boost I don't mind. Obviously, I like Cash generally just because he offers attacking threat. Because I think 29, a lot of these will be playing each other in those weeks, so you're not really going to expect clean sheets all over the shop. You'll probably get a couple between the games. I think the one I'd back to get a clean sheet 29 is definitely a Stupinan, considering he's got Brentford and Bournemouth. I'd back him to keep a clean sheet versus Bournemouth. Obviously, going into game week 30, 31, I think that is around the time that I will literally go down to only 2 Brighton players and start focusing on more rotation. And then obviously come 31 the double, so obviously I'm going to want 2 Brighton midfielders but probably not a defender. And then 32, obviously they won't play. 33, 34, 35, play him. I wouldn't even mind playing Matoma 36, 37, 38, I'll play him. And obviously you've still got the Newcastle fixture to be rearranged, which the Newcastle fixture is most likely what they will have in 31 as a double with Chelsea, and the Man United will be moved to 34 with Wolves. So there are definitely a lot of doubles for Brighton coming in. So I do not mind that at all. As far as I'm aware, I don't think Villa's got any more fixtures rearranged, maybe one. Nah, no more fixtures to be rearranged. So Villa is done, which hence why I will be going to a West Ham player 31. Just as I think Watkins to Ings 31 is a great move, as Ings has Bournemouth and then he doubles 34, you know, and I'll be able to cover it with a lot of benchings. So, and the City's got their West Ham fixture, which will be 34, and then I think West Ham's not got a bad fixture 34, and I just fancy Ings in a double week. They got Austin City, but I don't know. I wouldn't put it past Danny Ings to score in a double week 34, and it's just the fact he's got Bournemouth in 31. It just seems like a no-brainer to move Ollie Watkins to him in that week. Or it'll be a case of moving Ivan Toney, as I suppose Watkins is holdable. I suppose you can play Watkins, you know, versus Brentford, Fulham, probably play with Moss, playing versus Wolves, playing versus Spurs, even playing versus Liverpool, you know. I don't really think there's weeks I can't play him. I manage it well. There's probably going to be a couple more hits later on in the season to try and work around the blanks and the likes of 32 and onwards, but we haven't had the 32 reviews for blanks yet, so like this could all go to pot. I'm kind of hoping Brighton blank 32 because then City blank, and maybe I could hold off for Haaland. Do I get that news and not bring him in 32 instead of bringing him 30? Which, yeah, that could pay off, but I mean, I like Kane instead of Haaland for this week, next week, and 29, but I do think it's a very risky pick. If you would like to go for Kane over Haaland, it is a risky pick. I do like it though. I like it quite a lot. Just depends which way you try to look at it, I suppose. Obviously, I don't mind having Kepa and Raya. I had Kepa and I moved into Raya. I just think for me I prefer Danny Ward and Raya, and I prefer to have the money in the bank. And obviously Botman could be Chilwell, Cash could be Chilwell, but I like Cash. So if I did get Chilwell, then it'd be Botman to him, or even Reece James as a punt would be a worthy punt. Because I don't think Reece James, to be honest with you, overall ownership is quite massive anymore. I don't think it is anyway. Let's have a look. Chilwell is at like 2.2. Where's James? Obviously, Ben Chilwell's at 2.3 ownership. There you go. So he could be a very good pick and have a very big upside. You know, it's just a bit of a tough one. I mean, I quite like James though as well. Yeah, here you go. I don't know how owned James is though. 12% owned, 30% owned, so I don't really think it's someone I'd be picking over Chilwell, considering the same price. I think Chilwell is definitely someone I'll slightly consider, but I'm still not necessarily 100% sure on Chelsea assets. At least me 1.3 in the bank, so if I go to Haaland, I'll be losing out of 0.3. I do not mind Chilwell though for the 29 fixtures, the 30 fixture. I don't mind him for 31. He's playable 32, playable 33, could play 34, 35, you know. He's playable, not a bad pick. He has that nice double coming up and he's an attacking threat, so it's not someone you don't mind playing. And if Chelsea can pick up some kind of form, I would not be surprised if Chelsea hold the likes of Wolves off easily, Liverpool easily. I mean, yeah, I want him to kind of... The annoyance for me is with having Watkins and Salah is I'm basically hoping that Chilwell gets attack and return, as obviously I've got Watkins and Cash in there as well, so I'm kind of like hoping on an attack and return. Whether with Botman, I'm not. I've got West Ham. He could possibly get an attack and return. He probably won't. Obviously, it's just a case of having a Chelsea player in there to be a bit different. But I think if I was going for a defender from Chelsea, I would normally say Cucurella, but Cucurella has just not played any minutes anymore due to Chilwell being back, so it's a bit of an annoying one to be around. I don't really feel that the Everton players are worth it whatsoever. So anyone who's got Everton players, just sell them now. I don't mind, where's he at? Yeah, there we go. I don't mind a punt on Renan Lodi, considering Forest play Wolves and Leeds in a double week than Villa. I actually don't mind a punt on Renan Lodi. It wouldn't be a bad pick. I mean, I don't mind Joe Roll either. They're just cheap options, aren't they? I did say there's another way I could possibly bring in Brennan Johnson for Tony down the line as well, as Brennan Johnson's quite a nice forward right now. Digny's not a bad pick, but if he got full minutes when he was coming back from injury and he wasn't all over the shop minutes wise, he'd be quite a good pick. But he's all over the shop minutes wise. Collins, as far as I'm aware, ain't back to full playing. No. So you kind of basically, you want someone to play the whole game, you're near enough going for Semedo. So he plays 90 minutes, near enough 100% of the time. Just he's not had many assists this season whatsoever. So yeah, I wouldn't say he's great, but yeah, fixtures ain't bad. It's just be nice if he had a double game week, which he doesn't. Obviously, as Wolves have just come off one. Marty, what's Marty currently minutes like? Is he even playing for Leicester? He was playing for Leicester, but then he stopped, yeah. That'll be because Faze is playing in his place. Faze plays 90 minutes in and out. Like, look at the season. There's one game he's not played 90 minutes, so if you're after the most nailed Leicester defender in the whole bunch, White Faze, 0.2% owned, 4.2 mil, and he's nailed. That's not a bad pick at all. I don't disagree with having Castagna either. I mean, I don't mind Suter's not bad, but no, he's not going to do anything now. Research Castagna. Serious note though, I don't know why the hell my caps lock's on. I don't know what Castagna's current ownership's at, boys. We'll have a look. So he's 6.1 owned. He plays 9% minutes most of the time. couple returns, assists. Either a goal here. Yeah, he's mediocre, but I would not be annoyed having him. I think I'm trying to go for punts. I don't think I'm gonna keep Chilwell in. I've still got Botman there. Haven't made the transfers yet, but I don't know. I don't mind Chilwell. It's just really a case of, is he gonna perform well long term? Is he a good pick long term? Because I'm trying to think about picks long term and not just think about the double game week. It's like, alright, go back to transfers. Having a Arsenal defender is not a bad pick. Short term, long term, just in general, not a bad pick. But then it's just more the case they don't double. Where like I know Chilwell doubles, but I just don't think you're going to be after a clean sheet to them. I think you're more looking at the lines of assists and returns from set pieces and just playing the box and playing well. I mean, he's been back the last 3, he looks well. See, when he's playing games, he got a goal and assist that game, you know, 3 assists and a goal. It's total this season, but because of his injuries, he can produce those very good assists. So I don't know, he's not bad. I wouldn't put it past him to perform well. I just think it is a very big punt. Yeah, I think it's a very big punt. Don't disagree with it though. Don't disagree with anyone who goes for a Chelsea defender this week. I think just, you know what, fair play. You know, you're going for a Chelsea defender this week and long term. And you know what, if I got him, I probably would play him over Trippier versus Leicester. It's just like Trippier is 64% owned. He's got that attacking threat. They just look really off the pace, which is just something's telling me. I wouldn't be surprised if they conceded to Wolves. And I think he will hurt my other rank, which is why people think, okay, I have to play Trippier. He's going to hurt my rank. He's going to ruin my week. You know, it's a 50-50 call. But I think if I've got the balls to play risky and play Matty Cash or Chilwell over him, then I will. I will happily be ballsy, because if I think that move could really pay off, playing Matty Cash over Trippier, I will. Because someone just told me that Villa will keep a clean sheet versus West Ham. But then, obviously, Chilwell's not a bad pick versus Leicester either. By the way, boys, there has been talk recently that Reece James could possibly be taking penalties as well. So I would take that into consideration. It's just whether Potter will start James or not is another question. I don't see any reason for him not to start James. I just feel like James is one of those where he's going bad. Obviously, with Thiago Silva out until 15th of April. You know, there is going to be some guaranteed minutes for the likes of Reece James, I suppose, and Chilwell. But I just think Chilwell is going to have more minutes. I do like Rico Henry, by the way, boys. I think he's a great pick. I think just at 3.5% owned. Obviously, he only had 2 assists the whole season. I don't know what it's like when you compare him to Pinnock. I was quite curious, actually, what Ethan Pinnock's current stats are for the whole season are. So he's had a goal and 0 assists. Well, he's picked up a couple bonus and he's under 1% owned. But there is the bonus of it that he literally plays 90 minutes for the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 12 fixtures or whatever. So that is the bonus. And obviously, I suppose when you view Henry's also played a lot of 90 minutes. 99, all 90s, had one benching, then played 90, 90, 90, 75, 90. So I don't see any reason for him not to play. Do you think though Pinnock could be a worthy punt just because he's lower owned than Henry? They're both very good rank boosters though. Another one that's a massive rank booster that is probably going to be a massive good thing for me this week is McAllister. I think the fact he's under 5% owned is mad. Really, really big. Considering the weeks Brighton have got ahead, I think that's massive. I mean, I was even considering not having Saka and having Zinchenko there and doing, who was I going to do now? March. I was considering this. This is generally what I was considering. I don't think I'm going to do it in hell, but it was something I was considering. Solly March, and I was considering doing a stupid and to Zinchenko. And that's another thing I was considering. And you notice that puts me 4.2 in the bank as well, which allows me to have actually Kane over Watkins if I wanted to, but I'm not going to do that. I think these are better than. But yeah, no, I don't actually mind doing that. I don't think it's a bad thing either because it's easier to just go like March into a Saka after Gameweek 29 and keep the other two and still have Zinchenko. I think that is a lot easier. It's just like a Stupiman's obviously defender, so Brighton get clean sheets. He'll obviously be included in one of them. Obviously, if I play 3, then it probably would be a case of having to bench someone like Watkins, let's say. I don't really want to do that, which is why I don't mind playing there. Which another option is obviously having Maddison, because he's got. I know he's got Brentford like, but just play him. But then he's got like Crystal Palace, Villa, Bournemouth, so it's another option you could have. And I just think he's very low owned. But I mean, I'd definitely consider having March like that. I'm quite curious actually what the predicted points, because if I go on my FPL team app quickly, I'm quite curious what the predicted points would be. With Solly March and all that in midfield for this week. But no, it would be nice to see what the team will look like. I do think it's a an iffy one though. We are obviously. I don't mind actually doing it, but it's a very risky one. Could be worth though having March, McAllister, Matoma. Could be a very worthy pick. You're just missing out on a Stupiman, but then you're missing out on March. So it's like, and it's not like Brighton are guaranteed clean sheets versus Leeds and Crystal Palace. Brighton just do score quite a few goals. When they win, they win. But it's not like they've, have very rare clean sheets, really. They don't tend to find themselves in a lot of positions where they've got a clean sheet, so... Yeah, no, it's a real iffy one. I'm in a really bad situation because it's like, this ain't the team. I actually have Saka here and a Stupid here, but it's whether I want to do that and have the extra money, but then I've got to bench either Watkins or something. So it's like, I don't want to do that either. I don't really want to bench Rashford versus Southampton. I don't want to bench Salah versus Bournemouth, unless I did Rashford to Maddison, then it's justifiable. Or I kept Saka and I did Rashford to March, then I think that team's kind of justifiable. Because you've got midfielders then, which you're happy to play midfielders because you're not risking defending a clean sheet. So it's like, okay, yeah, I can attack this game week with 2 Brighton midfielders, or do you know what I mean? And I can fully pressure City with these players, and I'm quite confident they'll do bits, no matter who they play, Brighton. I'm quite confident with that, but it's a really iffy one. So I don't think I'll have March. I think I'll probably just keep this same draft, but it might be a case of going ballsy. I mean, I'm confident I'm probably going to do Haaland to Harry Kane. Just as I think Harry Kane will probably outscore Haaland most likely. When you look when he was last, what did he do last time versus? There you go. He scored 2 goals last time versus Nottingham Forest, and he didn't get any returns versus Southampton. But that was the first game of the season, so he's picked into form since then. So let's say he gets 2 goals versus Forest again. You'd be quite happy with that? So I don't think you'd be very annoyed if he got 2 goals versus Nottingham Forest. It is a very tough decision though. So whether you go Kane or Haaland, and obviously a Stupid and Rashford, or March and Zinchenko. Really big decisions. Do you think Rashford versus Southampton is big and we'll probably go out and punish them? But yeah, it is a 50-50 call. I think having the 3 Brighton midfielders is a very risky one. I don't think it's something I really want to do. And if I did, I'd be risking quite a bit by doing that. And I don't really think I want to do it. I want to keep Salah just because I think his double's nice, his long-term fixtures are nice, and he's got Bournemouth, and I've just had 21 points of him last week and 8 the week before. The week before that I got 3, but then he got 6 and 11. So he's been picking up some very, very good points for me. So I think I don't really want to complain after that double week, and then that points he's picked up 32. So I'm thinking, do you know what, Salah versus Bournemouth, he's going to perform very well, and I could see him getting at least a 20 point, maybe even a 20 point, sorry, not at least, sorry, yeah, at least a 10 point haul with even possibly a 20 point haul. Assuming Liverpool do what they did to Bournemouth, start the season and just go out and beat them 9-0. I mean, they've just beat us 7-0, so they look like they're in good form, but yeah, no, it's a iffy one. It's just whether Rashford's going to cover. I don't see reason not for him, to be honest. He's got all this consistency behind him of the 14, 5, 8, 10, 2, but then it's 7, 12, 8, 8, 15, 2, but then he'll go and score again, so it's like, you just know he's going to score after scoring 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 goals in essentially 9 games, which is a goal a game. So you expect Rashford to get 1 goal a game, really? But that's speaking off the stats and the XG and the XGI and stuff. He's predicted, I'd say, a goal a game. This one he was predicted expected goals 1.8, 0.7, 1.23. And he's predicted 0.64 in that game. But he's generally expected goals have been 10.4, and that's what he's had, basically 10 goals. So at the moment in the season, Rashford's playing phenomenal. I would not put it past Rashford to score a load more goals. Salah I see picking up. Don't see any reason for Salah not to pick up. It is a tough one. It's a tough one because it's like really playing on my mind whether I want to go March and obviously Zinchenko instead of Rashford, but then I suppose I'm benching Saka anyway, so probably make more sense to go without Saka. But then they've got Fulham. I mean, they only beat Fulham 2-1 last time. He did get an assist though. I just think Watkins more likely to get a return than Salah, as stupid as it sounds. And it's just Watkins' effective ownership is 8.8 and Salah's is 40%, so it's like I take the bigger risk with Watkins. But if Watkins pays off in that West Ham game, which I think he will, then it's an even bigger return for me. And I don't even know what he did last time versus West Ham. But it's like he's had 8 goals and 5 assists this season. I would not put it past him to go and score another goal versus West Ham. I'd even back Watkins to score a brace, to be honest. And it's just Watkins on penalty too. Villa tend to get more penalties than Arsenal do, and it's just lower owned. You know, bigger punt. Not many people have got him. You know, so it's thinking outside the box, and I just think it will pay off. If we go into the actual team aspect, I think this is the team I'm going to be running, but obviously I'm going to be running Cash over Trippier, I reckon. As daft as that sounds, it seems like a good pick. So I'll be having, in fact, I'll be having Saka first sub, just in case someone blanks or doesn't play. I would rather have Saka first save. Yeah, no, I'm currently sat with Tony captain. I really don't mind playing Cash. I think it's a very, very good punt, considering he's 4% owned. I'm trying to go against the grain a bit this week and shake it up a bit, make it different, make it stand out, you know, be a bit different, and try and just clear my mini league a bit more and make up more ground. I think there is ways of doing that. Salah's definitely going to be one who makes up a lot of ground. Obviously, if I have Kane instead of Haaland, that could make up a lot of ground long term. Might not pay off this week, but it might make up a lot of ground long term, considering Kane plays 28. So I am thinking of it like, okay, Kane's got Forest, but then Kane's got Southampton. Haaland's got Crystal Palace, but then Haaland blanks. Kane's got Everton, Haaland has Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? I don't think City will push Liverpool over, to be honest. I could see Salah playing very well in those games. And it's not sacking Haaland out of the picture and saying he's a bad pick this week. I'm taking a very big ballsy decision if I get rid of him. But then it's like, Kane could easily return more, so I wouldn't put it past him too. Oh man, what a pain. High-owned players, man. High-owned players are so flipping common, most of these. I'm trying to stay away from the template picks, but then try and still be mostly template as best as I can. So like, Raya, Henry is differential this week. Cash is differential this week because of how low owned they are. McAllister's a differential because of how low owned he is. Matoma's high owned, Salah's high owned, Rashford's high owned, Watkins is low owned, Tony's high owned, and Haaland's high owned. Kane's less owned than Haaland. Kane scores more than Haaland, obviously that'll pay off. But yeah, I'd back Cash to score more than Trippier. I've got a good feeling about Matty Cash. I'm quite pleased actually, to be honest. I don't mind playing him versus West Ham, like I said. People who take the risks and the 50-50 calls and just take the decision that they think is best tend to benefit from it. So I think I just go with the decision that my gut tells me to go with. My gut's also told me to go Tony as captain. I just don't think Mitoma's going to be more valuable captain-wise. We will move back to the transfers as well, boys. I was saying there is other things. I've got 2.6 in the bank, so with this draft, the other moves are you could have Chilwell instead of Botman, and the other move I was looking at was possibly going Zinchenko here, and then also having the Solly March here instead of Rashford. That is a move I was looking at. Well, it'll probably be instead of Saka, if I did that move. Because Zinchenko would be covering Saka's spot, and then what's it, the E29. As I can play a 5-2-2, 5-2-3, sorry, yeah, 5-2-3. Or 5-3-2, because Haaland obviously. But I don't actually mind the triple up on Brighton midfield. I don't think it's a bad idea at all. Just considering March could go and score a haul of 10 points, let's say. And you have, let's say, I don't know, McAllister goes and scores a penalty and gets 7, 8 points, you know. Do you know what I mean? And then flipping Mitoma comes along and scores a 10-pointer as well, let's say. And this is just in the Leeds game. Let's say they all got a goal versus Leeds, or they all got 1 goal each, let's say. You know, there's minimum like 11 points each there. There's 33. Salah gets a goal, Rashford gets a goal, Tony gets like 2 goals. There's my captain says like 32. Watkins gets a return, Haaland gets a return. Zinchenko, Henry gets a clean sheet, Cash gets a clean sheet, Zinchenko gets a clean sheet, or I can have Trippier there and play Cash to Zinchenko. And then I've got Ray on goal, so there's like a floor of like 120 points. But the safest option would generally be going Estupiñán, just as Estupiñán's obviously got potential double clean sheets. So there's a potential 15-pointer, just like there's a potential 15-pointer for March. So it is a 50-50 call. It is just a case of sacrificing Saka with that one, which I don't really like. I don't really want to do. I don't mind having Zinchenko to the Botman, but then Botman doubles, so I don't really think it's worth it. Obviously, having 2 Arsenal players does set you up more long term, and you're only really missing out on 1 fixture. And I don't mind Arsenal's fixture, to be honest, for Game Week 30. You know, they're running Liverpool. It's not ridiculously bad. 29 is an alright fixture for Arsenal. I would not mind having double, to be honest, against Leeds with Zinchenko and Saka. I wouldn't mind that at all. West Ham 31, Southampton 32. Obviously City, you just play them. Probably bench the defender. Chelsea, happily play it. Newcastle, you know, it'd be a case of you've got 1-on-1. Play it. Run it, see how it goes. 36, Brighton, obviously. And Nottingham Forest and Wolves, so I don't mind having Zinchenko instead of Botman at all. I really don't think it's a bad pick. I mean, I don't mind having, who was I going to say now? Donk instead of Estupiñán as well, possibly, but Estupiñán's definitely the better pick. Just Donk could be more nailed, and I wouldn't be surprised if Donk got a random goal out of nowhere, to be honest. I am quite happy though with the lineup right now. You boys want to pop some questions in the chat? We are going to do the Q&A now. Yeah, no, it's not bad. We're quite pleased with this team, to be fairness. I just like the fact that I'm very set up. I don't think it's snowing to get outside now. I'm very set up for 28, very set up for 29. I've got my team all the way planned up to 34, and then I can make transfers to sort myself out for the last 4 weeks. And to be honest with you, the last 4 weeks is where you go and do like silly little 1 week punts, 2 week punts, you know what I mean? And then like Game Week 38 is where I'll use 2 transfers, bring in 2 stupid players for 2 ridiculous punts at the end of the season, just to boost my rank even more. I always take that massive risk game week 38 and bring in two stupidly low-owned players who will just hopefully pop off. That I think's good. If anyone remembers the 2016 season for Mahrez and the Lord Lundstram season, which was 2016-17, you remember that Lundstram was a 4-0 defender and got over like 140 points, so it was amazing. Amazing for Sheffield, that was. That was one of the best picks we've had for Sheffield United. Lord Lundstram. What an underpriced defender. And then you had that season in 2017 where Trent Alexander-Arnold was like 5.5 mil peak season, scored 180 points. It was great. Mahrez scored like 240 when he was 5.5 mil when Leicester won the league. There's been some absolutely mythically good seasons over the past like 8 years. Obviously, I've only been running this game properly for the past 6 years, so we're going with it. But no, honestly, Watkins is a great pick this week. Tony, necessary. Captain, up to you. It's Matoma or Tony. McAllister can be thrown in the mix because McAllister's on penalties. I think there's more chance of Matoma getting returns, but then McAllister got that guarantee if he gets a penalty, so. And he's playing that number 10 role, which is more attackive, which is why I do think he'll return big. I do think Solly March, obviously, as well, can return really big. I just don't know if Leeds would score versus Brighton. I wouldn't put it past Leeds to score versus Brighton, which is hence why I was thinking that maybe not having Rashford and having triple Brighton midfield could be a swing. And then bring Bruno Fernandes in for Saka in game week 29. But they end up not having Rashford, so it's like, oh, yeah. I don't know if it's necessary to treble up, to be honest, on my midfielders. I think the defence is fine. It is just whether I'm going to have March or Matoma. McAllister is certainly staying in there for me. I just think with how low owned he is, it's up to 4.6 now, it's 4.5 start the stream, but how low owned he is, I don't see any reason for me not to keep him. In fact, the Matoma is like 19% owned. I don't know if March would be a more consistent hauler. Let's see, how many goals has McAllister had? Scores 1 assist. It's just the fact he's on penalties. He asserts a bit of dominance. Why is I'd go March? If March was on penalties, it would be a no-brainer to have March. Obviously, March has had 5 goals, 6 assists, so he has been the most attackive threat for Brighton the whole season. And he's got a 13, 11, and 19-point haul here, 10-pointer. I'm expecting a 15-point haul from McAllister and like a 19-point haul from Matoma. But I just think Tony's got the better guarantee with him being on penalties. I could see him getting a brace this week versus Everton. I could see him get a brace. I could see him getting a penalty and getting a goal in the same game, so 2 goals. I could see him getting 3 bonus points versus 13-pointer, and then I could see him getting 2 goals versus Southampton minimum. I see Tony getting like 20 points this week, to be fair. I think for me, my prediction would be 26 points for Tony. I think Tony's going to absolutely pop off this week. I think there's no reason for Tony not to pop off this week, to be fair. It is just that call of Matoma or Tony captain. Tony will be the most owned player this week, most captain player this week. So overall owned percentages XG so far. If you don't captain Tony, you're going to lose rank more than not captaining Tony and Matoma popping off. Because Matoma wouldn't affect your rank that much, to be honest. Where if you captain Matoma doesn't do much and Tony bags, you'll be in worse situations than Tony scoring 2 and Matoma scoring 3. So hence why I've gone Tony captain, just because it's more of a safer punt with your rank. I am still obviously considering though March instead of Saka or Rashford, and possibly having Zinchenko instead of Stupinan, but I think this is the way what I'm going to leave my team as. I do prefer Cash to Mings, as I just feel Cash has got that attacking threat. You know, even if they don't score a goal versus, even if they concede a goal versus West Ham, Bournemouth, so on, anyone, I just think he's got that really good attacking threat. And I just don't think it's a bad fixture whatsoever. And then the fact they've got Leicester and Chelsea, I don't mind those fixtures. for Cash to get an attack and return him. And if not, the way I see it, it's just another 4 points with possible assists that week. It's just another double game week player who I will play 28 for Bournemouth, and then I've got him for 27 for West Ham. So I just like how good Cash's fixtures are, and I think it's quite a nice thing to see. Obviously, if I did have Zinchenko and obviously March says Saka, I'd play Cash, Henry, Trippier this week. I wouldn't be playing Zinchenko anyway. But then it's just like, oh, you got Zinchenko, so. But yeah, no, it's not a bad one to think about, to be fair. I want to know any of you boys' thoughts. Have you wildcarded? Any transfers you're going on with? I do recommend no one to keep Darwin Núñez this week. I wouldn't be keeping him. I think Salah, if you're wildcarding like me and you want to keep him, I've kept him. Obviously, a lot of people had 10 players playing 28 when they've wildcarded this week. I'll only have 9. And that's if I have Kane as well. I have to have Kane instead of Haaland to have 9, otherwise I'll have 8. But I think I don't mind having those amount of players just so I can have Salah's double. You know, the way I see it, I bring someone in for Salah, but then he hauls versus Bournemouth, you know. One game probably won't make a lot of difference, and Maddison will be useless. And then Salah will go and haul again in 29. Play great for the rest of the game, start picking up some decent form, so I don't think there's any need for me to get rid of him, considering he's Liverpool's penalty taker as well. It's just the icing on the cake, isn't it? Another striker I will be considering. I'm not bringing him in this week. I'm not getting rid of Tony. But game week 29, sorry. Game week 30, I will consider bringing Brennan Johnson in. Just as he has these little spark moments where he goes and hauls massively. And I like that quite a bit in him. Joe Felix is quite a good striker for 29, but I ain't really keen on having him, to be honest. He's a Chelsea striker. Do you know what I'm saying? We don't want Chelsea strikers in our team. That's the last thing we want. I do suppose actually, if I had March instead of Saka, I could have Chilwell instead of Stupid. Which means actually I've upped my doubles by 1. And then I'd still have Rashford and Salah. I just have to bench Watkins this week. Which I suppose Watkins is benchable. Be a case of playing Watkins or Rashford. But it's like Man U vs Southampton, Watkins versus West Ham, you know, which one do you do? Simple solution. I don't know if Rashford's necessary this week. It's just he could hurt my rank quite a bit with not having him. I don't think he's naturally necessary though. I don't mind having Maddison instead of him, to be honest, considering I can bring Saka down to Rashford 29. I don't mind having Maddison. I mean, I don't mind having. Yeah, no, that's a really tough decision. I just think Salah offers more than March. Yeah, let's put it that way. Right. No. Here's a massive question. Do we bring Almiron back in 29? Big questions. I don't know. It's a tough one. Right, anyway. I do think we're going to wrap that up, boys, though, to be honest. We've answered quite a few questions over the team. I'll just go through my recommended transfers once again. My recommended transfers for this draft, the only ones I would consider is either going Rashford or Saka down to March, Stupinan to Zinchenko, or Chilwell, or Botman to Chilwell, and I would also be doing Haaland to Kane. And I will be doing Haaland to Kane. I'm just waiting until Friday just so I make sure there's no injuries, no delays, no game cancels or anything like that. Right, I hope everyone has a great day. I'll see you boys in a bit. And yeah, peace.